Is AI ruining our creativity, or is it possible that we're looking at it all wrong? If you're an SVG designer like I am, maybe you've had those thoughts that AI is taking over. But I want to tell you why I think that mindset might actually be holding you back. Because the reality is, AI is changing creativity. It's here to stay, it's not going anywhere, it's only getting better every day. And I think that if we want to learn how to use it right and not let it become a replacement for our creativity, then we probably don't want to be the last to figure it out. So, I want to start this discussion by addressing the big dramatic question: is AI replacing creativity? And I think that some would argue that it does. As I'm sure you've noticed over the last few years with the introduction of AI is a very hot topic. And honestly, there's a lot of noise out there, and sometimes it's hard to cut through that noise. Some people think that AI is cheating, that it's going to replace artists and designers and other professions out there. And these are all legitimate concerns. Like, I have even had these fears. In fact, I had an experience recently where someone decided to call me out on their Instagram account because I use AI in my design process. I don't always use it, but I do use it. Now, there were many things that they said when they were calling me out on their social media, but one of the things that they said that I think is a common fear for other people is that AI isn't generating new images, but pulling from other sources, aka stealing from others' art and artists on the web. If you can't come up with your own designs as an artist and only use AI who profits off of others, you shouldn't have a business. Now, this experience, while it was not fun in the moment, it was a good lesson for me. These are legitimate fears and concerns that real people have. And so this whole experience has sent me down quite the rabbit hole. I have spent hours trying to learn as much as I can. I have been taking a deep dive into AI over the last few months, just trying to figure out how I can use this as a tool in my business. I think the problem is that there's still a lot of confusion out there on what AI is, how it works, how it can be used for good. And so today that's what I want to talk about. I want to cut through the misconceptions and get real about AI and creativity. I think if we were to travel back in time, we'd probably hear a lot of similar debates regarding new creative innovation and inventions. For example, is Photoshop cheating for artists? Is it cheating for a laser owner because they're not hand cutting all of their designs? None of these things kill creativity. In fact, I would argue that they enhance it. They basically become tools that help creatives like us do more in less time. But I get it. I was skeptical of AI too, which I think is a good thing. I think it's always good to have a little bit of skepticism trying or doing anything new. But I think the difference is actually taking the time to learn something and figure it out, which is what I did. I took the time to figure out how to use AI. How could this be a benefit for me in my business and in my process? And what I found completely changed my mind. I started to become really, really excited about AI and all of the many creative possibilities that were just racing through my head when I found this tool and I found that I can make it work for me. And by the way, if you're wondering how to actually use AI in a way that still lets you create unique, original laser designs, I do cover all of that inside my mini course, From AI to SVG Design. The link is in the bio if you want to learn more on that. So, in my personal experience over the last year, AI has been a great tool for many things, including idea generation, creating references, and just filling in the gaps wherever I feel stuck in my design process. But what I've learned is that AI can't replace my vision, can't replace my skills. It's not some magic, make this perfectly laser ready design button. Although, wouldn't that be nice one day to have an easy button like that? Now, I know that there are some people out there who will take an AI image that they've generated, they'll throw into an SVG converter, and they're going to call it done, and then they might list that on their shop and sell it, which is fine for personal use, and there is an argument there for commercial use, but we'll talk about that in another video. I believe if you're a business and you want to sell your designs and you want your brand and your designs to stand out, don't do that. Don't just throw your generated images into an SVG converter and call it a day, because almost always generated art needs some type of cleanup before it's really ready for the laser. So in my opinion, if you're a legitimate business, this is not the way. And just to really hone this in and make it clear on what AI can't do, it can't replace your skills. It can't replace your unique perspective and style. It can't replace your ability to refine an idea and actually make the file laser ready. So if you're a laser owner like me, rest assured, AI does not quite understand yet the ins and outs of laser design in the way that an experienced user and designer would understand. However, AI is a great addition to a toolbox because it speeds up your design process. And I think we could all agree as business owners, any way that we can speed up a process or a workflow tends to be a game changer and something we probably don't want to sit on. But it really comes down to understanding how to use the AI, which in and of itself is a skill, because you need to know how to take what AI spits out at you and turn it into something that's actually usable. So figuring that out, it's going to take a lot of practice. It's going to take a lot of trial and error and some occasional frustration, because learning to prompt and give the AI information in order to give you something back that you can use, that takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill. So it's not quite as easy as some people might think it is. So you see this AI, it gave me something decent, but if I actually want to use this for laser cutting, it needs to be vectorized. I could not use this as is. I could not just throw this into an SVG converter and trust that it's going to give me the clean lines that I need for beautiful laser cutting. I also need to color code my layers. AI doesn't understand that. There is still skill and effort that needs to go in order to make our final design work. And that's the real work. That's why I don't believe AI is going to replace us, but it does change how we work. And I don't think that has to be a bad thing. Now, something that came to mind the other day when I was just so deep in my thoughts about the experience that I had where someone called me out. I haven't heard anyone really talking about this yet, which is why I wanted to bring this up here, because I think it's an interesting perspective that I think some of us just don't consider when it comes to using AI, and how I think it can actually help us make our designs more original and help us copy less. So let's think about it. If you're scrolling Pinterest or Instagram for ideas, then you're pulling inspiration from stuff that already exists. AI, on the other hand, can mash up concepts in ways that might be a struggle for you to do on your own. I know I struggle sometimes to come up with my ideas or to see a clear vision of it in my head, and that's why AI is such a great tool for me, is based on the information that I give AI. So my prompt, my wording, it can help me conceptualize my ideas and bring those ideas to life in a way that might be difficult for me to do on my own. For example, instead of recreating something that I saw on Etsy or Pinterest, I can use AI to generate art based on my concepts, my ideas, and then I can refine those and tweak them and turn it into a finished design. I think that's pretty amazing. I'm basically building something from my own inputs, my own information that, again, I'm giving the AI. I'm not stealing ideas. I'm not stealing artwork from other artists. There is still a human behind the keyboard that is guiding and directing the AI. And I really believe that if you want to be ahead of the curve, then now is the time to learn this. The designers who figure out how to use AI are going to be the ones who are shaping the future, who are setting the example and setting the standards. So what is the big takeaway from all of this? AI isn't here to replace our creativity. It is a tool that enhances it. And I know that AI can feel weird, maybe even a little scary, but every creative shift has always started out a little uncomfortable. And I don't think this one is any different. So if you're ready to stop feeling stuck and actually learn how to use AI and use it for good to create beautiful laser-ready designs, my mini course From AI to SVG Design will walk you through my full process. So be sure to check that out in the description if you want to learn more. Thank you for joining me for this first video in my 5-part series discussing AI and laser design. If you're curious about what the use of AI can look like for you in your creative process and in your business, be sure to follow along to part 2 in this AI design series, and I will see you there.